Oh, just in time. Good morning. And I say just in time because I had some air trapped in my chest and I was able to get rid of it. Too much information, I know, but it's the way we run things around here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we exchange information. We try to connect the dots among ourselves and the destination, our city, Puerto Vallarta, as a community of English-speaking locals. Yes, locals. And we'll make a little bit of an emphasis on that today, just to honor the fact that we are here for English-speaking locals. We appreciate tourists that want to connect with us. We also appreciate those of you that spend time seasonally here. But ultimately, we are a community of English-speaking locals. Why are we talking about this so much today? Well, I think this will become clearer as we take a look at our content today, because we are about a week away from Semana Santa. And of course, once Semana Santa comes, a lot of people use that as a sign that, whoops, here come the Mexicans. It's time to go home. And a lot of people start flocking away. And that is what it is. But we'll spend some time thinking about that later on. But first, here we are. If you are new to the broadcast, or at least new to the broadcast live, please let us know that you are new by writing the word new in your comment, and we'll be so very happy to give you a nice welcome. If you have something really important that you wish to be acknowledged or addressed during our chit-chat section later on, please add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment, and we'll be so very happy to take a look at it. Let's get going. So, Pueblo Mágico sounds lovely, but that is correct. We recently announced that the Puerto Vallarta branch of the National Chamber of Commerce announced the intention to pursue the declaration of Puerto Vallarta's El Centro neighborhood as a pueblo mágico, or magical town, which is actually an option within the federal program's guidelines. But when they went and interviewed Adriana Palacios Peña, who oversees El Centro's neighborhood association, on this matter, she concurred, but not before the city's administration brings back the neighborhood from such neglect. And she has a point. This article features a number of telling images that show how our city's government is not truly paying as much attention as they could to the number of closed businesses, unkept facades, trash, graffiti, and other items and factors that would not help anyone in any way to convert or designate our downtown area as a pueblo mágico. If we recall the original news item, Jalisco Secretary of Tourism, Vanessa Perez Lamas, stated at the time that her dependency, the Secretary of Tourism, is definitely behind the idea, but the municipality has to be on board as well. So I told you then, and I tell you now, do I foresee Puerto Vallarta's downtown area becoming a pueblo mágico? Nope, not at all. Not until and not unless the local government gets its shit together and makes it look like one. Moving right along, it is sad to announce that Puerto Vallarta is already experiencing moderate drought, according to the National Water Commission. And our municipality is not alone. In fact, 122 of the 125 municipalities in the state of Jalisco are now experiencing similar conditions. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means that it is time to be particularly mindful of our resources and the way we use water in our daily lives, because the rainy season is not going to arrive until the end of May, maybe middle of June. So just be careful out there when you're using water. This is not a good time of year to be just using it for the sake of it. And that's what we have for big news. We have all kinds of show and tell and feedback from readers, and we're going to read a couple of messages that I got on email, because as usual, if the answer would help more than one person, we'd like to do it on the air. So let's first take a look at the weather forecast and take it from there. My weather monkeys claim it's sunny right now, but they're monkeys, so it's probably snowing. Fair enough. It is 27 degrees right now. Feels like 27. Humidity is at 34%. And our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 81. Our forecast for today, Tuesday, is clear through the day with a high of 31 and a low of 19. Tomorrow, Wednesday, partly cloudy through the day with a high of 31 and a low of 20. And on Thursday, we can expect another mostly cloudy day with a high of 31 and a low of 20. Moving right along, as I mentioned earlier today, before we go into that, I was walking through town yesterday. I went to Emiliano Zapata to see a show and to hang out with dear friends. And I walked into the Intercam ATM, and I went there to get some cash, and I was walking out of there, and then I heard my name being called out, and I turned around and I looked up, and there were these very nice people up on their balcony waving hello. It was difficult to hear. I think they were from Nova Scotia, but it is always good to be recognized on the street and to say hello to friends that watch the broadcast on a regular basis. So thank you for reaching out, and that was that. I also want to let you know that I got some information, some questions that, again, we want to address here. This one says, I appreciate the information you provide. Could it also come in English? Or maybe I'm pushing the wrong button. Okay, that's the first part. For the first part, I have to say, everything we do here at Coffee and Headlines is in English. We publish show notes that feature news items that are published in the original language. Some items are in Spanish, some items are in English. If you are referring to those Spanish items, no, we don't provide that information in English. Google Translate provides a great way for you to translate your own articles if you so desire. Or if you want to read Spanish news, well, there are a lot of places where you can learn the language. That's not something that we teach. Number 2, when will the second sculpture be installed? It's fantastic. It is fantastic, but we don't have a date as to when it will be installed. And then I have this one. I'd love to attend one of your lectures before we fly back to Idaho on April 28th. That's very sweet. Yay. Do you have another music lecture planned for Sunday, April 23rd? Well, that's specific. We have 2 lectures scheduled for music appreciation lectures. And I've been advised to no longer call them lectures because when I say lecture, it sounds so formal, and maybe it shouldn't sound that formal. Let's just say music appreciation related stories. We will have 2 of those during the month of April. The first one is on April 13th, and it will be about musicals, their origin, and the way they're built, and the way they're produced, and where musicals are going in this new millennium. That is on the 13th. And then we have another music appreciation lecture scheduled for the 27th of this month. But I don't even know what that's going to be about. I haven't thought about it just yet. So I am open to suggestions. If you have any ideas of things that you would like to learn musically more about, and you would like to attach those to a comment, I would love to read that once we get into our comment section. And speaking of people that are leaving, and this is what I wanted to just touch base on today. This is, again, that time of year in which people start packing their bags and they leave, and people that are here and have been comfortably used to the income they perceive from people that are here as tourists, they start getting restless and panicky. It's like, oh my God, the gringos are leaving. What are we going to do now? So I had 2 entities that reached out to me for help to promote things because people are leaving. The first one was the Secret Wine Bar, who is going to have a wine tasting on April 4th and April 12th of this month. It is about sparkling wine, 5 great Italian sparkling wines served with authentic Italian antipasti. And the other one was the nice ladies from Leave It to Cleavage, who have 2 shows left this week, and they're like, please help us, please help us, please help us. So I believe I've just done that. But as always, I would like to put out some reflection for you folks and for anyone that is starting to get a little restless about the fact that the gringos are going away. I love the fact that our city has such a variety of great businesses and friends. And of course, Chris and the nice folk from the Secret Wine Bar have taken the time to be actively pursuing our community here at Coffee and Headlines, and they oftentimes say hello and whatnot. The ladies from Leave It to Cleavage, well, they don't spend much time here at Coffee and Headlines. In fact, I don't think they've ever said hello here. Regardless, we're happy to acknowledge the fact that it is a fun show and more people should go see it. But the bottom line remains, number 1, Coffee and Headlines is a product by and for English-speaking locals. And number 2, for those of you that are getting panicky about the fact that the gringos are leaving, I have some news for you. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of English-speaking locals that are here year around. And I wonder, what have you done to entice English-speaking locals to get connected with your business or product? You don't need to answer me. Just ask yourselves. For those of us that are here year around, and I know I'm not the only one, it gets a little whenever we have to listen to you start feeling like, oh my God, what are we going to do? The gringos are leaving. So just remember, many of us don't leave. Many of us would love to cater to you, and just, many of us would like to see you do a more concerted effort to acknowledge those of us English-speaking locals that are here all year around. And that's enough of that. I'm not going to continue standing on top of a little stool to tell you things that we know and we appreciate. The end. This article from Vallarta Independiente suggests 5 things to do in Pitillal, and I'm going to concur with each one of them. The article says, number 1, visit the parish of St. Michael, which is, the church in Pitillal. Number 2, walk through its cobblestone streets, which, of course you want to do that. And number 3, enjoy a glass of tejuino. Let me just get a poll happening very, very quickly because I forgot to set this up at the beginning of the broadcast. Number 3, enjoy a glass of tejuino. And of course, tejuino is a fermented corn-based refreshing cold beverage, or then you can enjoy a glass of agua fresca, which we enjoy all the time. We love agua fresca. Number 4, shop for crepes, enjoy corn or the traditional birria tortas or tortas ahogada. Well, that is a little bit non-specific, but we do know that a lot of these delicious items are offered in the main plaza at night, and that is always wonderful to enjoy. And then the article says, number 5, go shopping for things that are less expensive in El Pitillal than in the tourist areas. And this, of course, we know to be true as well. So we will be spending more time in El Pitillal in the near future. I have left a poll for you to answer whether you've spent any time in El Pitillal, and I'm going to be curious to look at the answers. We'll come back and look at the answers. Oh, we might as well take a look at the answers now. I am seeing that 58% of you have spent time in Pitillal. Bravo. 43% of you have not. Well, you're not going to be an English-speaking local until you do. There you go. Moving right along, I told you that we would take a look at today at the drive up to Las Carmelitas. As I told you the other day, we went there, and I wanted to show you a little bit of how that works. First of all, I put together a little map on Google Earth just to show you the process of getting up to Las Carmelitas. And this whole thing starts at El Libramiento. And of course, if you're going south on El Libramiento, you probably recognize this right-hand turn that goes up the hill. We call that the Par Vial. And the Par Vial is a, hold on just a second. Let me find my little, there you go. We go up the Par Vial, and usually you take the Par Vial to get to the other side of El Centro. You continue heading after this little rotary and head down towards this way, but not when you're going to Las Carmelitas. To go to Las Carmelitas, you want to take this turn to the right and go up the hill. And of course, you will find the entrance to Las Carmelitas. And then, of course, after that, you have to climb this road, which just goes all the way up the mountain. And of course, you end up at Las Carmelitas, which is up here on the mountain, and you have the rest of the city to look at from above. And that is the way that looks. And now what I want to do is show you the actual drive. And while we do that, we are going to look at your comments, or start looking at your comments. Let me set this up, and I think we're good to go. Okay, here we go. And there we go. We're going to start by taking that right-hand turn onto the Par Vial. And while that's going on, I'm going to start looking at some of your comments this morning. We don't have much narration here other than looking at the scenery. And what I'm looking at is lots of good mornings, which we love. Let's see what we have. Lots of comments. Ronald is having dinner at Bravos tonight. That sounds yummy. I love it. Hey, Albert, I think this means we need to become locals. Don't get me wrong, Sherry. We love anyone that chooses to be part of the community of coffee and headlines. The only part that ruffles my feathers ever so slightly is this perception that once Semana Santa comes, the foreigners leave and we are all doomed. And the town is dead and nothing is going on, which is all a big crock, as far as I'm concerned. Let's see what else we have. That's the right-hand turn at the Parvial, by the way. Da-da-da-da, Michael says, regarding the person that thought I was giving a lecture on the 23rd, they must have an open day. Well, what do I know? Let's see what else we have. Thank you, Sage. We live here year-round, and we love all the seasons of Vallarta. We support our local businesses to help the local economy during low season. Low season? Oh, we are approaching. This is the entrance to Las Carmelitas. Low season? There is no such thing as low season. We have winter, spring, fall, summer. A lot of people would like to think that summer is the low season. I think summer is a value season. Summer is a warm season. But once you start calling it a low season, then you're manifesting a low season. So, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I don't think we have a low season, and that's just me. Let's see what else. Oh, by the way, now that we're going up this road, we are now in private property, because a lot of people might think, you can go up to the restaurant and not eat anything and just enjoy the view. Well, they frown on that. So you don't want to go up this road just to get a kick out of it, because you are entering private property. In fact, there are times of the year in which Las Carmelitas has a security guard at the bottom of the gate, at which time you're expected to leave a deposit just so that they can make sure that you are actually going to consume something at the restaurant. So you're going up this road, which is now cobblestone, thank goodness, because before that it was just a dirt road. Imagine dealing with this in the dark with no street lighting in the middle of a rainy season, and that is definitely not something I would want to do. Moving right along with your comments, Michael says, and very accurately, better deals are in Pitillal and have the most awesome food stands and little restaurants for local flavors. Absolutely. Absolutely. Pitillal is one of those places in which you can get so many things done. It's not even funny. Let's see what else we have. Frank says, went to Las Carmelitas in April of 2008 for my husband's 50th birthday. Feels like you're driving to Dracula's castle to get there. Absolutely. Because you have no idea where you're going, but this is the way it is. Mark Hartman, oh my God, what a pleasure to have had the privilege to hear you play live and create live music this season with many of your good friends. I was last night at Guda Gabor's final performance, which was not open to the public. And of course, Mark has been the conductor, arranger, pianist, accompanist, and mover and shaker for so much wonderful live music that we got and we had to enjoy here in Puerto Vallarta during the last few months. Alas, Mark is packing his bags, leaving town, but please come back soon, my dear Dr. Hartman. We would not be complete without your talent and your wonderful advice. Let's see what else we have. Lee Stiver says, on the music lecture, I'm most interested in learning about traditional Mexican music, maybe delving into a specific genre, looking at the history, influences, and what role it plays in Mexican society today. Thank you very much for that, Lee. I will definitely take note of your feedback. Much appreciated. Let's see. No offense taken, Sage. No offense taken. It's quite the opposite. It is an invitation for you and for anyone that chooses to call summer the low season to just flip your mindset and consider something that is more nurturing. Because, it's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like when you say, oh, it's going to rain, it will rain, or when you say, oh, I don't want to walk down a cobblestone street because I'm going to trip, I will trip. So instead of calling it the low season, why not call it the value season? That's just a thought. Paula asks, what is the name of the place you are going? You mean right now on the video? We're climbing up the hill to get to Las Carmelitas. We talked about Las Carmelitas yesterday, and it was my intention to show this video yesterday, but unfortunately I didn't have enough time to put it together and trim it and so forth and so on. So I just wanted to complete our adventure by showing you what it takes and how long it takes to get up to Las Carmelitas. And we are almost there. We can see it in the background. And as I mentioned yesterday, Las Carmelitas continues to have the most spectacular view of the city. And but it comes at a price. You have to get there. The food is good, but not out of this world amazing. It's a little pricey, etc., etc. But again, this place continues to be the place with the highest vantage point that you can easily get to take a look at not only Colonia Emiliano Zapata and its surroundings, but also the rest of Puerto Vallarta. So it really is an eye-opener as to how large our city is. And this brings us to the end of our... Yes, we end this video with a little glimpse of Emiliano Zapata all the way down there in the haze. It was a really hazy day, so it was difficult to capture it properly. And this, of course, brings us to the end of our broadcast today. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. Again, we welcome everyone to Coffee and Headlines. We welcome anyone who wishes to create nurturing connections with our way of life, with our society, our culture, the way we do things here in Mexico, but for better or worse. We have been, and will always be a program for English-speaking locals connecting with other speaking locals. Thank you very much, and I will see you back tomorrow morning.